Welcome to Tami's Soul Speak, featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks, offering insight, spirituality, transformation, and clarity to every soul. Now, here's Tami.
Hello, happy Wednesday to you, wherever you are in the world. I'm sure wherever you are, it's probably hot. The whole world seems to be sizzling. So I'm glad you're taking the time in the middle of your week to join, to be here and to learn and to grow. And I'm glad the animals have brought us together as always. We create new every time. And I see, Kat, you're here. It's good to see you. So hot in this area. And Marge, really good to see you. It's always a joy when I start seeing everybody come into the room because, of course, the animals are hard at work ahead of time, bringing you here, nudging you here. It's just magical. And we're going to talk a lot about magic today. So that's extra special. And Claire, good afternoon. From Wet and Soggy, UK. Is it hot there as well? Tracy, hello. Glad you could join us. And Deanna, always good to see you. Hi, Mandy. It's good to see you too. I love that you're coming in here now as we are going to get really good and started. And before we get too into it, it's going to be a super interactive show. So it's going to be, as always, an experience that you will take with you. So if you don't have your pen and journal or paper, you may want to get it. We're going to have some fun exercises, some fun things to do, and hopefully learn in the process. Vicki, it's good to see you. Very hot in Alabama. I bet it is. Lisa, good to see you. And Dee, happy to be here. I'm glad you're here too. And wow, Marge says she saw Isla walking across the room. I miss her. Oh my goodness, what a gift though. What a gift. And it happens really fast, doesn't it? Like in a blink. They come through and they're like, did we just see this? And Diane from Canada, good to see you. Cindy, hello everyone. Hi, Gina. And Barb from Ontario too. And humidity is descending. That's always a good sign. It's not around here. Oh, Gina says, I'm so glad I caught you. I am too. I'm glad you're here. So, the subject today about animal psychic pathways is an interesting combo of words that the animals gave me specifically for this show, for what they wanted to teach. And so we have to use words, obviously, to describe our experiences in life. And sometimes the words sound otherworldly and far away from our reach, like psychic pathways, right? I am here to tell you that what we'll talk about today is available to you in each moment of your life. You're just not used to acknowledging the pathways are there. You're used to assigning it somebody else, someone who has powers you think you don't. Animals don't do that since they're in the present moment all the time. They naturally engage in life and energy, and they always remain authentic to who they are, acknowledging what they feel and see without the need to cloak or hide anything. I don't know about you and your experience with animals, but I've never been unclear with them on how I stand with them. In other words, they show me. They show me by their feelings, by who they are, by how they're acting, by their eyes. They show me. And so we never have to worry where we stand with them, right? They're very clear. Not so much with people though, right? Because people will cloak their feelings. Humans do cloak their feelings. Jocelyn, it's good to see you from Montreal. And Victoria, good to see you. So would you like to be more like the animals, connected to yourself, your heart, your life? Maybe you're already that. You don't need any extra boost. Would you like to open up more psychic pathways in your own life? I don't know about you, but if I answer that question, I would be like, yes, because I know firsthand the magic that's created and also the ease in which I can operate in life because of that open pathway. Everybody's saying, yes, I will take some of that. So I'm curious, what does psychic pathway mean to you? When I say, well, we'll take a look at the animal part in a moment, but what does psychic pathway mean, you think? Extrasensory perception, otherworldly things. And Renee, if you put up the slide, I kind of gathered some things while you're sharing. Tracy says connection. And Lisa says yes, to be present at each moment. So Renee, if you would go to the next slide. So let's take a look at this for a minute. A metaphorical, I'm just throwing this out to you. I'd like to see your words actually. A metaphorical, a spiritual concept, right? Related to accessing information or insights beyond ordinary perception. It suggests a pathway or channel through which psychic or intuitive faculties operate. You might say you're intentionally or unintentionally tapping into higher consciousness, spiritual dimensions, or subtle energies. So why would you want to do that? To gain knowledge or guidance or awareness that goes beyond what is readily apparent. Marge says intuitive knowledge, pure love. Kat says a channel, excuse me, open to information and love from and of the field. That's beautifully said. I like that. You need to make a note of that somewhere. That's well worded. Agreed. I totally agree with you on that. But I want to share something with you. And Renee, I think I did a slide on this. I'm not sure. Do you have one that says life becomes magical? Yes. So life becomes magical is magical more than you realize. I promise you this. The pathways are connecting points to hidden treasures in the energetic field that can help you navigate your own life with ease. And oh boy, don't we all need that? And so, the pathways, the psychic pathways that we all have access to and that we all, bump into or intentionally open up. Do you know what the common denominator is on that one? It's creativity. You're like, what? Yes, it's creativity. And I wanted to share something. Renee, if you'd put up this book, I've shared this book before with you all, but I just want to read a couple of excerpts from Elizabeth Gilbert and her Big Magic. And Renee, if you just keep that up there while I'm reading. So, she has such a way of wording what creativity looks like. And she says, and I'll just bump around here. She said, I should explain at this point that I've spent my entire life in devotion to creativity. And along the way, I've developed a set of beliefs about how it works and how to work with it. That is entirely and unapologetically based on magical thinking. And she says, and when I refer to magic here, I mean it literally, like in the Hogwarts sense. I'm referring to the supernatural, the mystical, the inexplicable, the surreal, the divine, the transcendent, the otherworldly. Because the truth is, I believe that creativity is a force of enchantment, not entirely human in its origins. And she talks about, I believe our planet is inhabited not only by animals and plants and bacteria and viruses, but also by ideas. Ideas are disembodied energetic life form. They're completely separate from us, but capable of interacting with us, albeit strangely. Ideas have no material body, but they do have consciousness, and they most certainly have will. Ideas spend eternity swirling around us, searching for available and willing human partners. I'm talking about all ideas here. When an idea thinks it has found somebody, say you, who might be able to bring it into the world, the idea will pay you a visit. It will try to get your attention. Mostly you will not notice. This is likely because you're so consumed by your own dramas, anxieties, distractions, insecurities, and duties that you aren't receptive to inspiration. You might miss a signal because you're watching TV or shopping or brooding over how angry you are at someone or pondering your failures and mistakes or just generally really busy, the idea will try to wave you down. But when it finally realizes you're oblivious to its message, it will move on to someone else. But sometimes, rarely, but magnificently, there comes a day when you're open and relaxed enough to actually receive something. Your defenses might slacken and your anxieties might ease, and then magic can slip through. Isn't that a great way of describing the creative world, the unseen world, the world that the animals live in, the psychic world, the intuitive world, that all intertwines. And so, what she describes as far as creativity is the same way you access and you embody animal connection and the animal psychic pathway. And so that begs the question, what's an animal psychic pathway? Renee, if you would put that up for me. And then next slide. So this is going to be fun. Connecting with animals on an intuitive or psychic level, perceiving their thoughts, emotions, needs, experiences beyond what is communicated through verbal or physical cues. Pathways help you access information about your animals and yourself. And I know from what everybody has shared with me as we've gone through these shows and you email, you are definitely in process of opening up your own pathways. And how pathways open up are through the channels that you normally use. And they're fast. Like she said, when the idea floats by, when the creativity comes by, if you don't grab it, it'll go on to somebody else. I always say windows open and then they close. And so if you're always open and at the ready, that magic can be part of everyday life. So if you think about how you interface with life, for instance, are you visual? Are you auditory? Like, how did you learn as a child? What is your go-to for understanding something? And that's the channel it's most likely going to come through. It can come through other channels, but that's definitely one of your own specific ways. And so each of us has different ways we interface, I call it, with the world. Karen says, yes, that I've been so busy taking care of others my whole life that I've ignored myself. I need some magic in my life. Yes, I love that. And I love that you're acknowledging that piece, because it's time. It's time that we all engage with magic. And I promise you, it is here every day. It's especially here when we join together, because it's always fun to see what we end up talking about, how you interact and what's on your mind or your hearts. So I have the question for you. What's the difference between psychic awareness and intuitive awareness? And would you want both if it could help you connect more deeply in your own life? What do you think? Is there a difference? If so, what is it? I'm curious if you throw any comments up. And the other part is, and we'll go through, each of those aspects here in a minute, but I'm going to also say, and if there's a difference, does it matter? Like, why do we need to know whether it's psychic or it's intuitive? So, Renee, if you'd put up that next slide about intuition, is something we all have. We all have our GPS guidance system, our natural ability to understand or perceive something without the need for conscious reasoning. People call it a gut feeling or inner knowing. It helps you make quick, instinctive decisions based on subtle cues, patterns, or feelings. How many of you think you have intuition or use your intuition? How many of you consider it your GPS system? I have always relied on that without really having the words for it when I was younger. Always. It was a sense of things. It was a feeling sense. And the feeling sense I could translate into words, and the animals were amazing helping me with this. Estefania says, I use intuition a lot. And Kat says, to be intuitive is to see into. Yes, to see into rather than at. Martine says, it's connected and that all is meaningful. Yes. And Gina says, I'm very intuitive. I love that you own that. I really do, because a lot of people I speak with are like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not that. And I'm like, yes, you are. And Marge says, yes, I frequently have that gut feeling. And Karen says, inner knowing is always working with your heart. 100%. I love that wording. And Vicki says, yes, my gut is never wrong. Do you pay attention to it? I mean, I can say the same thing. Boy, have I had some times in my life that I had that feeling, and boy, I didn't listen to it. And Victoria said, absolutely, just need to learn to listen to it more. Well, that's what we're here for, and I hope we're going to do that and help you today. And Jocelyn says you have to develop it. You know, it is, it's like a muscle that if we don't use it, you know, we don't really pay attention to it. And so, but the bottom line is we all have it. So if we agree on that one, and animals are masters at helping us with our intuition, helping us practice that. They're like the easiest ever for practice. Vicki says, yes, all the time now, especially I've gotten older. I guess you trust yourself more is what you're saying. And Nikki says, I'm intuitive, but I don't always act all the time. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we're really busy, we may miss the signals and we're like, darn, I knew that was coming. And Kieran says, I do have it, but I have trouble accessing it at times right now. So let's change that wording a little bit. And because what you're acknowledging is you have trouble. Let's just say, I do have it, and I'm always aware that I'm working on it, because we don't want to point it out that it's a problem. Let's reframe that a little bit. I think that would be helpful. Cindy even says, sometimes I don't want to believe something my gut says is true, and I try to ignore it. That's another thing right there. If we don't want to see truth, our intuition shows us truth. And it's easier like, yeah, no, I think I will like close that door and look this way. I know I've done that in my life. Claire says, I feel more intuitive, but when I'm being in the moment. Yes, it definitely comes in the moment. And you have to sometimes act really fast. Deanna says, trust is a big part. It is a big part. I agree. And I had to learn that about myself too. So psychic awareness, let's look at that one. Renee, if you'd put up that slide. You know, I call it enhanced intuition because they really run together. And, you know, once that intuitive channel is opened, and like, let's hope it stays open. Maybe it doesn't, but let's hope it does. More specific insights, random hits, specific information can come through. But I will always say that they work together. Nikki says, or is it's moments that a flash thought, then something happens a few weeks later, or is it a sign? So I'm not sure. Are you questioning whether it's psychic or intuitive? Put it in the comments if you don't mind. And Renee, if you would put the next slide up so I can, yes, thank you. Intuitive and psychic channels work together. So we don't have to get necessarily hung up on, well, is it this or that? It's fun for the mind, but it's not necessary. Intuition relies on internal knowing. That's that gut knowing, right? Or experiences, and psychic information pulls from the field orbiting around an individual. So it might be more specific things like you can, you know, I feel a new pup coming in for someone. That's more of a psychic kind of pull as opposed to intuitive. I've had many experiences with the animals where it's just, I have passed something and I felt an energy pull to my right, and therefore I went to the right. I had plans to go straight, but I went to the right, and that's where it opened up. That was my intuition pulling me. So both intuitive insights and psychic insights can and do operate at the same time. Estefania says, I've always wondered what this was called. So I'll give you an example of just dialing down when we get stuck. So I had a client recently who was really, really wanting to adopt a new pup. She knew she wanted like a puppy versus an older dog. She had that kind of specific information. But when she started looking, she got so confused because she was like, all of the puppies look cute. And so she had made this board of all these different images. And so what we worked on is putting them up there. And this is going to be helpful for you all to kind of tune in to catch whatever information you're being given. Had her put the photos up, and I said, okay, close your eyes a minute. She did. And I said, now pretend you're at a park, and you open it up, and you, like, if we had, like, say 4 or 5 of these photos up, open your eyes, you're in a park, which one do you feel drawn to? And when she did that, she was like, oh, this one. So we would take a look, and I said, well, let's look at this one. Look into, because photos are blueprints of information, and it's very helpful for you to see it beyond like the static, cute image, or the smile of a person. When you kind of broaden it out and I said, feel into it. And she said, I'm not really getting a big feeling on this one, even though I was drawn to it to begin with. I said, well, let's put it aside. So what we ended up doing is that until she got down to like 2 of them. And she felt very drawn. Her intuition was drawing her to one. It's like if you have ever watched John Edwards or, even James, when we're like, I'm feeling a person at the back of the room. It's like that kind of pull, that energy pull. So she felt the energy pull to the one. And I asked her, so next step after you've like distilled it down a little bit is go meet them, obviously. So for your own help with intuition, it's always good to close your eyes and open it back up, just see for a new perspective, because it breaks the mind of arguing with you about it. So along with what I helped this client with and what she needed, she even told me somewhere in there, I just am not like you. I live in my head. And I was like, that's what we're talking about. We got to get out of the head and into the heart. So Renee, if you would put, I think I have it, I don't know, links to a psychic pathway. What I would say the links are openness, curiosity, playfulness, sense of wonder, imagination, that natural connection you have with your pet. That's your link. That's your link. And your heart is going straight for that. And Karen says, I've been working on staying conscious of my emotions and fear-based ideas. Intuition closes if staying in the monkey mind with myself. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That door, you just don't have access to it. It's good to always practice just noticing that when you do and making a conscious decision to let go of those emotions and ideas in the moment. Don't worry, you can pick them up later, but for the moment, just let them go. And Nikki says, specific, 2 of my friends' dogs passed last week. I had thoughts and feelings for these animals a week before, so their energy was coming forward. Absolutely. And that was, that's a lot of psychic energy that you're picking up in the field. Absolutely. And energy you're going to feel ahead of time. All you intuitives out there, everybody, you can feel energy ahead of time. We just can't define what it is. It's like the wave is way out here when we're at the beach and we're looking, but we can see as it comes closer, we can identify it. So what are your most active times to be intuitive or psychic? Renee, I believe I do have a slide. It's not hard. It's each moment of your life. So if that's the case, good news is the animals are the easiest beings to practice with you'll ever have. They show you in each moment what channel to tune into and or what channel you're tuning into that you aren't aware of, but you might want to change. It's like the not good channel. When I was younger, I never had a problem connecting with or understanding animals because they were safe, they were open, they were always willing to share their heart with me. I never had the thought that I couldn't communicate with them, especially since they always had plenty to say. But here's what most people do. Renee, if you'd put that graphic up. Exactly. There's a big difference in that energy field of I can't versus I can. Like I said, I never had the thought that I couldn't. It never dawned on me. And I didn't have anybody telling me any differently. They basically weren't paying attention to me. So I had free reign with the animals. So let go. If you have that I can't, you let that go. You especially with what we're getting ready to do next. You don't need it. You do have it. All of you do have it, because I'm going to need your help a little later on. So if you're ready and you want an experience, let's get started. Let's do a quick exercise. So once you close your eyes and drop into your heart space, you call on your pet by name. They're already here, but call them in anyway. Call them in by a mind picture or what you remember most about your pet. And just take a second to feel them in that space. I can feel them. You've literally just opened up a channel or pathway just by thinking it, just by intending it. So here's what you can do. Some of the things, and this can be used in daily life, some of the things you can ask for. Renee, I think I have a graphic or a slide on that. Number 1, make me laugh. 2, what do you need right now? 3, what signs are you sending me? How do I know you're guiding me? And what's the next step together on our path? Now, this may or may not come in the moment of our show, but what we're doing is we're planting seeds in the energetic field that can be retrieved and received by your pet. So these questions are simple, right? They don't necessarily have an urgency attached to them. So it's best to stay with easy things when you're just trying to play with this easy exercise. Don't stress out about receiving the answer. You play with the energy. It's when we get demanding and needy and impatient that stops up the pipes. I call it psychic constipation. What you can do in addition is, Renee, if you'd put up the graphic with sticky notes. Sticky notes are fun. So, and I've talked about this before, a fun way to connect with spirit, with animals, all kinds of, energy that we have access to, is put it on a fun sticky note and stick it somewhere in the house. And it's interesting when we plant ideas like this and it's like blowing out and let it go. What'll come to you during the day? You might be vacuuming and you think of something and all of a sudden you start laughing. It might be hours since you did this little exercise, but it'll come to you. Make sure you're aware and you catch it, because it's easy to not track that piece. But once you've activated the pathway, which we just did simply by closing eyes, going into the heart, asking them to come forward, be on the lookout. The answers may come immediately, or most likely when you're not expecting it. So I want to share something. This is a personal share that I wanted to ask you about today. So today is my Katie's transition date. It's, and it's on those days that our hearts actually have an energy boost. It can be really hard for some people, but there's an energy boost because the portal is activated even more, and the veil is very thin on transition days. And so I've got a video I want you to watch, and I want to know if you can help me out today. I'd love to hear from Katie. She was always the best teacher, friend, soulmate I could ever have. And on this day, 4 years ago, Katie transitioned rather abruptly, suddenly, and in the blink of an eye was gone. She popped into my life the same way she left, sort of like a now you see it, now you don't kind of energy. And so using the heart activation we just did, which is very simple, I'm wondering, as you watch this video, and we can play it a couple of times, she's a Sheltie Chow mix. Could you see if she has anything she wants to share with me, with us? And if anything comes while you're watching that, please put it in the comments to share with us all. She urged me to do this today and share with you, so I'm curious what she's up to. So Renee, if you wouldn't mind playing that. So I'm wondering, are we picking up anything from her today? She was 14 when she passed. One of my biggest teachers. One of the sassiest ones, too. She had to approve of everything. I would always say I'd have to run it by the committee, and she was the committee. I'm seeing some of you, Deanna says, can already feel her joy of being on the show with all of us. Honored to be here. Thank you. Marge says, so happy. Karen says, pure light. Vicki says, you are stronger than you think you are. Oh my gosh, Vicki, you are so psychic. You know what? One time she told me, she said, I'm like a table. You can put anything on my back is like a table. You can put anything on my back. I can shoulder it. I can hold it. So see, yeah, exactly. Good catch. And Marge says, those eyes. And Diane says, she is your heart dog. Oh my goodness. She came to me in the brush and she waited all day. Somebody had dumped her. Claire says, it's like she has a magnetic pull, like she's pulling you in. The word in comes through strongly. Oh, I love that. Nancy says, don't be sad, Mom. I love you and I'm with you every day. I agree. But you know, on these days, I thought, I hope I can read this to her without sniffling. But if I sniffle, it's okay. Gina says, I see happiness too. Estefania says, not sure if this was her, but I did have a moment of a white dog like her running towards me in a field of grass. Oh, how fascinating. Estefania, do you think that's, I wonder who that is. Is that somebody associated with you? I've had little white dogs too, so it could have been any number of mine jumping in on the show as they are wont to do. Patty Week says she's there with lots of others that have passed, a whole group. Yes, definitely. So many that have come before her. And even last week I had little Ernie passed. So you know, it's almost like they're on a slide and they're going down, and the one who went before is there to catch them, and then the next one is up. Janet says, life is what you want it to be. What do you want? I like that. So true. So I love the way she's talking to you, because you're getting a whole lot different things than I do. She's a healer on the other side. Tara says, yeah, definitely. She's helping all of us for sure. Her joy shines through. She knew her purpose. Yeah, it was like to keep me straight for sure. Claire says she was your one-on-one girl. Absolutely. Yeah. Gina says, I wish I could communicate. It's just she looks so happy and peaceful in the photos. You are communicating with her, and what comes to you is what you need to hear and see as well. So that's another very interesting thing about communicating with animals. And I always call it, we're not communicating to, but with. And we all need some touch up on how to communicate with each other, but animals will send us the feelings, the thoughts, the very things that we need to work on ourselves or that we need more of. So I love that you picked that up. And so we're gonna reframe that. I wish I can communicate, which is your I can't, to I am already communicating, or I wouldn't have been able to share that with you. That's how easy it is. Oh, Karen says it made me tear up. She loves you so much and is still always here for you. I will tell you all something that I knew with Katie. The animals have taught me so much over the years. And, I always was working with the animals on a daily basis and not doing in the world quite yet what I'm doing now. And so I had this sense that when Katie passed, a door would be opened that we would walk through together and move on to what I would call my life's purpose and our life's purpose. And so, there was a growing on for both of us that had to happen, and we were at that point. And I want to share with all of you that when you do have an animal that passes, it's a true soul growth. It's that we're all growing on. And Deanna says, you are as strong as she is. I always sometimes really admired her strength, Deanna. I really did. I admired her independence. I admired her strength, and she was her own girl. She owned who she was. She made no apologies for anything. So I learned a lot. And Nikki says she sends grounding and deep love in her eyes for you. I have chills. What a blessing for all of you sharing this. This is what a special day. Oh my goodness. I remember the day she passed. I'd had her out in the yard, and after she passed and I came home, she actually, long story, but she actually passed in the car after I'd pulled into the vet. And so I was sort of stunned that it happened that way. And I got back to the house and I noticed, I was, sort of in shock. And I looked out on the grass and I saw her hair on the grass. And so I went out and I started picking up all the hair I found from her. I will always remember that, how special it was when it was so quiet after that had happened. So you all sharing what she's saying means the world. And I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And she is working with us all on our skills, working with us all on our heart connection. And what an honor that you're able to be here. And Jolene says, I just feel bright and happiness. Oh my goodness, yes, I agree. Claire says, I just had a funny image. You're both in cloak and gowns, or gowns, graduation type, and there's a skipping rope between you. You still partners. Oh, what a great image. I love that. Yeah, because I did feel like we both graduated, and it's like it was time for me to take it on the road, so to speak, and it was time for her to help with that. So, the fact that this dropped in as I channeled the show really is quite a sign in itself, and it shows we're all kind of learning together. And so we've done the quick exercise with, thinking about the little sticky notes, the fun, and then we've dropped into Katie and she's helped us. And I will always remember this day. So I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So I've got another, like a meditation that dropped in yesterday really strongly. And when things like that happen, when you're channeling, by the way, for all of you, if you start getting the words come faster than you can almost actually type them, that's when I knew it was coming in, fast and furious, and I was supposed to capture it. So what we're going to do now is a meditation that I said, like I said, was channeled yesterday. And as you go through it, I want you to just really relax. And I know it's the middle of the day, but what we're creating the channel that's going to go forward the rest of your day, in your week, in your life, with your animals. So if you're ready, let's do it, and then we'll talk after. So Renee, if you would play that.
And get comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and let out the sound of releasing any worries or tensions. Close your eyes. Feel your heart space open, flowing, soft, gentle. Your pet is right here with you. Now put your attention on your third eye. That space around the middle of your forehead, slightly above the junction of the eyebrows. Imagine that you're outside and have walked up to a big gate that has a code box attached to it. You clearly see numbers from 1 to 9 on the box. You also realize you've seen this box before. It feels personal. This code box is connected to your heart space, which is connected to all beings you love. It opens all gates to true communication and connection via your intuition and psychic abilities. Each time you use it with a desire, intention, or true heart question, you're given a one-time only 4-digit code to put in. Why one time only? Because each time you ask something, you're in a different space in life. What does your heart really want to know right now, in this moment? What do you need clarity about? When we ask questions from the heart, the quality is completely different than asking from the mind. It can be as simple as, Katie, what do you want to share with me today that would help? Or, my heart is hurting today and I'd love to feel you near me. How do I know you're near? How can I feel you? Now, ask your question through words or feelings or images. Ask it through your heart space. The minute your question is asked, the code box lights up with a 4-digit code. Punch in the numbers now. You'll hear a voice clearly say, "Access granted." The gate immediately opens and a big screen appears. You see your pet on the screen holding up signs. The signs may have images, words, phrases, or even song titles on them. Look to see what your pet is sharing with you now. Now open your eyes and jot down whatever you saw. These may be direct answers or clues that will lead you to more detail. And if your screen was blank, don't worry. Ask for images to come forth when you're in the best position to receive them. Trust that you will receive exactly what you need the most.
So, do you feel that heart space? It's what got created by that meditation is we just opened up tremendous channels that we were already like opening them up all during the show, but we really opened it up this time. And that code is something that even if you didn't get anything today, I would not be a bit surprised if it didn't drop in later. Because if you're like me, when I first hear a meditation, I'm trying to follow what it tells me to do. And so my mind is trying to get it. And so if you listen to this one several times, you're going to find the mind, it has its learning curve. And it's like, oh, I got that piece. And then you can really drop in to where you're not trying to track everything. And if you would put up whatever you got, you know, if you received any information. It was a powerful channeling that came through. And so Constance says, yes, happy Anna is taking good care of Archie, her baby 13-year-old brother. Thank you. Wow. Wow. No words except wow. That's amazing. Marge says she got grass and daisies. What does that mean for you? You got the word grass and daisies? Marge says, I love this meditation. Well, you should see me. I was like channeling away, and I was like, what is coming? This feels really fun. Kat says, I was blown away because as soon as I closed my eyes, I was seeing a black box surrounded by multicolored light before you mentioned the box. Yep, there you go. Psychic pathway are open. I love it. You know, and how your box lit up is, think about this. Well, don't think about it. I want you to feel it. Was your box in color? Did the numbers light up one at a time? Were they all lit up at once? Gina says, my dog was holding up signs saying, I'm here, I'm good, it's okay. Oh, I love that. It's like you went to a drive-in movie theater is what we just did. The olden kind. Marge says she saw the grass and daisies. Isla was sitting there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And she just showed herself to you this morning too. I'm getting all over body chills. Wow. And Jeff said, Daisy told me, keep going, keep going. I love it. Did anybody else get anything? Did anybody get any song or anything? Let's see. Tracy says, I have trouble with guided meditation. However, I asked Lucy Love and Wilson jumped into my lap. I asked for Lucy Love and Wilson jumped into my lap and started giving me kisses. Well, there's your sign right then. There's your sign. You know, if I don't know what your trouble with guided meditation is, but if it's like me, I really like them for myself, because once I settle down and my mind's not trying to get it the right way, like doing, you know, then I really benefit from it. And I don't know, even if you had trouble with it, tell me, if you don't mind, Tracy, what your feeling sense was when the meditation was over. Mandy says the song, I'll Stand By You. Wow, I like it. And it's probably one you hadn't thought of, right? Recently. I had the song, Claire says, Together Forever. Oh gosh. Now, all of you that got the songs are going to have to go listen to them. You do know that, right? And Karen says, code box opens, typed in passcode with most amazing colors all around. Walked in, Lazo told me I'm with you always. Oh, wow. I'm telling you, that activated something in us all. That code box is a real thing. It's a real energy. Like, you know, Elizabeth was talking about. It's a living, real energy. Jolene says, I wanted to know if Denali has been with my daughter who just passed. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see anything, but I felt weary and happy. Do you mean weary, like tired, weary? I'm so sorry about your daughter. And I'm glad you were able to connect via what you could feel, because that's every bit as real and important as anything we would see. And so don't ever discount your feelings. That's the first thing you should count. Thank you for sharing that. Patty said, Bailey kept jumping up on me while Freckles held up a sign with a huge heart on it from the other side. Oh, how special. I wonder if you're going to run into like some kind of sign with a heart on it. You'll have to keep up to see if that happens, because this is a playful energy. This is a special playful energy that you can use anytime. I mean, the code box is yours. It's specific to you. It's personal. And you use it to unlock things. Tracy said, I was surprised that even though I didn't follow directions, I received a gift. Oh, I'm all for not following directions. You rebel, you. I love that you received a gift. We always receive gifts no matter what. Thank you for sharing that. Tara says, I saw a brilliant red heart. Again, I'm wondering if you're going to see that out in your world. So don't be surprised when this happens, because we're literally lighting fuses here today. Mandy says, it was 2 years ago that I lost Mario. This isn't the first time that song has come to me. It's now our song. How beautiful. How really beautiful. How meaningful. You know, the animals are always coming to us on the heart channel, and it's very simple. We're already connected to them, so we just open it up even further. And when we use playful ways to get in, our minds tend to, once they get the instructions, then they're like, okay, got this. And then they get quiet. Your mind gets quiet. And then everything else, your feeling sense, all your senses, all your clairs can come forward. And you know that the animals live in that energy field. And so that's why if you want to ground into the space at any time, just be with your animal. There's your psychic link right there. And they also, you know, just like Katie guided me to share today, they're also tracking even before we do. So they sense things before we do a lot of times. That's why they always have helped us see things maybe we haven't seen ourselves. I love all these comments, and I have several good questions that came in that I want to share, that if you'll help me through these as we do them together, let's see what people are asking. And while Renee is putting that up, I want to, before I hold that, Renee, if you would, Nancy says, my fours popped up as soon as you described the lock. My screen showed a clip of my Murray rolling around in catnip and playing with a toy. He passed a couple of months ago peacefully at home. What a beautiful gift. What an incredible, beautiful gift. And I love the detail. You need to write that down. Please write it down. You'll have more of that coming. Kat says, Wiley Cat wanted me to know that I brought him to love from fear and strife, and he'll help me find the same. What a beautiful reciprocal gift. Beautiful. I hope all of you are capturing these things in your notebooks today. And so, yes, Renee, if you would put up the question. So this is a Stefan Neo. Her Bella was run over by a careless driver. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I miss her, and I can still feel her presence with me once in a while. After her passing, I've had many dreams with her. Sometimes she even warns me about things. Recently, I had a dream that I still don't understand. I was walking through a field, and I saw my grandfather, and he waved at me. Then I walked to a different part of the field, and Bella was there with a bunch of puppies. What could this mean? Wow. I love that you're already connected and that she comes to you and you have this, it's like you have an agreement, and it is a soul agreement to continue on with each other. And what I would say, I love that your grandfather was there. I have a really good feeling with this dream. I would say pay attention to the feeling. Like when you woke up, what were the feelings that you could describe? Was it in color, like really clear? Did it feel like you just had it right before you woke up? Those are the ones that come in precognitively. You know, it's like heads up, pay attention. And I've shared, you know, a lot of times I've had dreams and about an animal, and then a week later they show up. At one point in my life, they did that. So yes. So the question being, bunch of puppies. What could this mean? I immediately get a sense that she was very motherly. I also get a sense from her that she is working with puppies on the other side. So like welcoming them in and caring for them. That's part of her life journey. So I don't know in her life for you whether she was very motherly toward everybody, toward you. But that's definitely a theme for her. It's a nurturing theme. The other piece that it might be, and we'll have to see, is wonder if a new one's coming your way. Have you been thinking about that? Has the idea popped in? Marge says she got a puppy named Bing. If that's what you picked up, if I'm reading. And Claire says guiding the new ones over after passing. I got that sense too, Claire. See, you articulate, you guys, so much better than I do. Stephania says, yes, she was very motherly. Yeah, I get the sense she's working on the other side with puppies. And, have you thought about another one? I mean, that's another area we could go to. I get the first one even stronger, but there's something I'm feeling intuitively as let's wait and see what unfolds with this. So now it's a cliffhanger, Stephanie, and you're going to have to let us know if you get any more dreams or downloads on this, because we will be wondering. Thank you so much for that. That's a great one for, like, is this psychic information? Is it intuitive? It's all of the above. It's your connection with her. It's definitely, it was a visitation, 100%. It's a dream visitation. Very, very special. I'd date it. I'd write it down. Make sure you track your dreams. Very important. And if you haven't, you do it right after the show. Thank you for sharing that. And so this is Barbara. This is another Bella. My question is, how is Bella doing, and is she comfortable and happy? Is there anything she would like for me to do for her to keep her happy and pain-free? She says she's been through it, Barbara. And she says you have been so attentive to her, and you notice every little detail, and you have mothered her along, she says. She's a little, like, she wants you to ease up on yourself of worrying about her. Because she said she's just happy to be here. Like, I get this sense of, phew, this body of mine just gives me a fit, and still happy to be here. Very happy. And that has a lot to do with her relationship with you. So I say, just keep on, being the you that notices everything. And at the same time, check to see intuitively within yourself, am I worrying right now? I think I'm going to let that go and just be with her. She also says she will tell you directly. She was like, look at this face. She's very funny. Look at this face. You think I'm not going to tell you? I will tell you. So, and everybody's chiming in, and Marge is like, oh my gosh, that face, such soulful eyes. She does. She's a very, very deep soul and very connected to you, Barbara. So hope that helps. And this is Whitney. I recently lost my sweet beagle, Britain, on July 4th. Oh, I'm so sorry. We were away almost all day, and when we got home, he was hard of breathing, and we rushed him to the ER vet. He had a ruptured tumor. We were thankful we were able to say our goodbyes to him, but I am so sad that I was away from him all day and not sure if he was suffering long until we came home. I have dreams a lot about him almost every night. I hope that is him communicating to me he's still around. Well, oh my goodness, what a journey with Britain. You know what? The fact that you're continuing to have dreams and is so you're so aware of those. Yes, he definitely is communicating, and he's distinctly saying that he's coming to you so that you'll know not to feel bad. It was relieved to get out of that body, he was happy to pop right out. And the other piece about, I was away from him all day and not sure if he was suffering long until we came home. I get the sense not at all. And I also get the sense that you came at the very right time, and you were shown the minute you could see it. So in other words, remember that wave I talked about, when the energy is out here, we can't see its definition until it comes a little closer. You were able to see once you were able to see, and you acted, and he says you were the greatest support. And he's referencing not only in that, but also all of his life. Greatest support, he says. And now he's here to support you. And I would note those dreams that you're getting. Keep tracking them, keep dating them. They will come more from him. So hopefully that helps you. It's so sweet. And this is Cha-Cha, I believe. I've come so far in my journey to become normal. I've become more trusting. How do I tell mom and dad I love them? Oh my, you know what? The greatest gift we can give anyone is to be with us and accept us just as who we are. And you've done that. And you've allowed Cha-Cha to feel normal no matter what. And that's why the trusting part has come through. How do I, Cha-Cha is saying in the eyes, how do I tell mom and dad I love them? It's in the eyes. And so there's some direct communication going on, Vicki, with Cha-Cha. Has come a long, long way in his healing journey, all because of you. So thank you so much for sharing. And gosh, let me get to one more. We're about out of time. I've lost 7 pets in the last 6 years. My little dog Chewy died suddenly and unexpected a couple years ago. I was almost 16. Then my little kitty Weedy, so cute, who was 19, died less than a month ago. I want to know if my deceased husband was there to greet them on the other side and if they were united with their brothers. I'd like to know if they visit me and if the orb I saw after Chewy died was really him. I would so appreciate a message from them. I love them dearly. I love that they corralled you to come to the show, Gina. I love that they nudged you and guided you and opened you up to life on the other side. I'm hearing absolutely. There's a soul group. There's like, it's like a group party going on. I've got the feeling. And the orbs you saw, absolutely 100%. You doubt too much. I'm hearing you doubt too much and you don't believe yourself. And you need to really receive those gifts that you're getting. If you dream, don't doubt it. And the orb, just be like, wow, I can't believe that came, because that was him. And you can actually receive more from all that we've done on the show today and all the opening that we've all experienced on the show today. You've got more to come. So never say that you're not a communicator. You most certainly are, because you wouldn't have had the committee bring you here and bring all of you to us. Well, we're out of time, and I've so enjoyed our time today. I always have fun. Thank you so much for all your incredible sharing and your gifts and the Katie messages. It means the world to me. And next show, I think, is August 1st. I don't know what it is. Somebody will have to help me. Renee, you'll have to put it up. Yeah. So, and then we will talk, but I always love to keep the conversation going. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.
You've been enjoying Tammy's Soul Speak featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks.